Welcome back to Skill Garage. On the previous episode, we began building this 2022 Subaru BRZ made by Tamiya. In the previous episode, we did a bunch of the body work. We applied the base coat, then we did some decals, black accents, and then we clear coated the body. In today's video, we're going to continue with the body by starting off with polishing. To polish, we're going to use some 3200, 4000, and 6000 grit sandpaper. For wet sanding the body, I first start with 3200 grit sandpaper and then 4000 grit sandpaper, then 6000, basically just working my way up. And I'm basically trying to sand it till it's smooth and make sure I don't actually sand through the clear coat. I'm essentially sanding the clear coat down until there are no shiny spots left, and then after that, it's time to start with polish. With wet sanding out of the way, I'm using Tamiya 3-stage polishing compound. I first start with coarse, which is the first compound that needs to be applied. Following that is the fine compound, and then we finish with the finished compound. To rub the compound into the body, you could use a polishing tool, but what I like to do is just rub the compound on the body using a microfiber towel. This ensures that I don't scratch the body instead of using just a regular towel, and I don't accidentally burn through the paint using a Dremel tool. After each layer of rubbing the compound in, you'll start to see that basically the shine will return, and once you're done with all three compounds, you'll be left with a finish that's shinier and more perfect than before. With the coarse compound out of the way, I can move over to the fine compound, and I'm essentially laying this to the body the exact same way. I lay it on the body and then rub over it with the microfiber towel, and essentially this is the entire process for polishing the body. And after applying the three polishing compounds, this is the final product. Now we can move over to the final assembly, starting with the taillights. These taillights come in two pieces. They have a chrome backing and the actual clear lens, which has some red color on it. Then following that, the last rear end piece that needs to be thrown on is the diffuser. We can now move over to assembling the front end by throwing on the main front grille, some side vents, and the little lip piece that goes at the bottom. Following that, we can throw the windshield wiper cowl onto the body. Next are the side vents that go behind the carbon vent on the front fenders. With this part of the fender being carbon, I think this honestly gives the front end such an aggressive look, and I'm definitely glad that I did it. Moving past that, we can move over to the headlights, which have basically a silver piece which represents the actual bulb that needs to be placed there. It took a lot of adjustment with an X-Acto knife, but I finally got it. And with the bulbs out of the way, we can assemble the white piece, which essentially represents the LED light. Then there's this black decal that goes on the top of that, which completes this front headlight. Before we could throw the headlight housing onto the body, we first have to remove the masking around the headlight, which we painted last episode. The headlight lens goes on the body first, and then we can throw the headlight housing on there. And to do this, I'm using some white evergreen glue, which is essentially glue that works for clear parts and doesn't fog it up. And with the headlights on the body, that wraps up the assembly process for the front end. Next up are the windows that need to be assembled on the body, and the first thing that needs to be assembled on the front window is the rear view mirror. After that, we can throw the windows onto the body. To start wrapping the assembly of this body up, these 2 roof panels need to be thrown onto the body, as well as the roof scoop. Next up for the small pieces are the door handles. Following that, we can throw the windshields onto the window cowl. And the final piece of this assembly process are the side mirrors. With all of that out of the way, I can throw on the hood, which wraps up this build. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next episode. Deuces.